The truck driver's haunting journey. A truck driver living in Europe was on one of his long journeys. His route was surrounded by towering mountains and thick layers of snow. The road was treacherous and terrifying. As he continued, the path became increasingly eerie and unsettling. He was utterly exhausted. Every short distance he covered left his body aching and shattered from fatigue. Maybe I should rest for a while, he thought. He pulled his truck to the side of the road and decided to rest inside. After lying down for a few minutes, strange noises began coming from outside. It sounded like someone was walking on the snow, heavy footsteps crunching against the ice, followed by distant chilling screams echoing in the silence of the night. At first, he froze in fear, hoping the noises would stop. But soon, they became impossible to ignore. Maybe someone is in trouble out there, he thought. Despite the freezing cold and his exhaustion, he had to check. The noises grew even stranger as he prepared to step out. His truck creaked and groaned as if someone or something was swinging on it. Mustering his courage, he stepped out of the truck. But when he looked around, he saw nothing. The snow-covered landscape stretched endlessly into the distance. Confused, he stepped further away from his truck to investigate. He stood there for a long time, trying to make sense of what was happening. Suddenly, from the corner of his eye, he noticed a girl running towards him. Her sudden appearance startled him so much that he rushed back into his truck, slammed the door shut, and locked it. The girl stopped right in front of his truck, staring at him. She gestured for him to come outside, her face pale and emotionless. Fear gripped him entirely. His heart pounded in his chest, and he couldn't move. And then, just as suddenly as she had appeared, the girl vanished into thin air. The driver's breathing was heavy and uneven. He stared out at the desolate, snowy road, his heart still racing. He couldn't understand where the girl had disappeared. The silence outside was so deep that he could hear his own breathing echo. After a while, he tried to calm himself down, convincing himself that it was probably his exhaustion and lack of sleep playing tricks on his mind. He shook his hands to snap out of the daze and decided he couldn't stay there any longer. He started the truck and began driving again. But after covering a short distance, the truck's engine suddenly died. The vehicle was now engulfed in darkness, and the silence outside felt even more menacing. Suddenly, he saw the same girl standing on the side of the road again. This time, she was holding a red cloth in her hand. Her face looked calm, almost serene. But this time, the driver wasn't as scared, perhaps because he had already faced so much on this journey. He stepped out of the truck cautiously and approached the girl. As he got closer, she spoke in a soft, eerie voice. "This path is not for you. Turn back. This place will not accept you." After saying these words, the girl slowly dissolved into the snow, disappearing as if she had never existed. The driver's heart pounded in his chest as he rushed back to his truck. He turned the key in the ignition, and this time, the engine roared to life. Without looking back, he drove forward into the night. The road remained treacherous, the air cold and biting, but the girl's words echoed in his mind. After hours of driving, he finally reached a small village. The warm lights and distant sound of people talking brought a wave of relief over him. He decided to rest there and made up his mind that he would never take that route alone again. The end. Sometimes, on long and lonely roads, the line between fear and reality blurs, and we are left wondering whether what we witnessed was real or just a trick played by our tired minds.